At this point, I'm going to call on Rahul and Alexey, and I just wanted to give you a quick outline of the companies that they are in charge of or leading. Tech5 is an international technology company founded by biometrics industry experts focused on developing disruptive biometric and digital ID solutions through the application of AI and machine learning technologies. A combination of sustained investment and single-minded dedication to the development of biometric modalities that capitalize on AI has resulted in Tech5's algorithms being consistently ranked in the top tier of NIST rankings for face, fingerprint, and iris recognition technologies. Tech5 target markets include the government and private sectors, and products from Tech5 power civil ID, digital ID, and authentication solutions, delivering identity assurance for various use cases. And their Tech5's partner in this project, ID R&D, should be familiar to those of you who joined us on our previous webinars, but ID R&D helps to shift the burden of user authentication from the customer to technology, and is creating a unique set of technologies to eliminate cumbersome authentication methods and deliver science-driven, highly secure, seamless customer experience. So welcome, Rahul and Alexey, and please tell us about this decentralized digital ID application.
Thank you, Chris. We're really glad to come and talk about something we think we really add value to. I will pick up on what Jim was talking about, especially on the user edge, which is the smart edge devices, and really talk about how edge computing is helping to solve one of the very hot topic, if you will, in the identity management ecosystem. As we all know, everybody is listening, talking about cyber attacks, honeypots, and centralized systems being vulnerable to scenarios where somebody's coming and stealing data. The edge-based decentralized identity verification is very important. Now, the other aspect of it, which Jim kind of highlighted, is the less reliance on infrastructure, which means network connectivity and let's say the dependency on some backends is what is driving this innovation, where we want to make sure that everybody who carries their identity can be able to prove who they are in an offline manner. Now, how do we achieve that? So what we are talking about today is a fully decentralized digital identity that one can carry in a printed or a digital form. And then the person who wants to verify if you are who you are claiming to be can simply use a mobile device like a smartphone to on the spot verify if it really is you, right? And there's a lot of value to that. This is decentralized, this is offline. If you could be in the middle of the ocean and you're still able to prove the identity of the person. And how are you able to achieve that is what I'm going to present next. So this is a technology that we keep talking about. It's a storage capability where we are able to put not only the demographic information, but also a full picture of a person, the biometrics like fingerprint templates, voice templates, face templates, everything that you would need to verify if the person carrying the ID is really who he claims to be, right? The beauty of this is that not only can you present it on a mobile phone as an identity carrier, but you can also print it on a card or a paper at home and then carry it as your credential, such that whenever you want to prove yourself, somebody with a mobile phone or a smartphone can check if it's really you. People usually confuse our technology with the QR code. Remember, QR codes are typically used as a URL. You go to a hotel and you check a restaurant, and then you click the URL. It takes you to some backend and it's checking over there. This is not what it is. What we are developing is basically a self-contained identity container. That means you have everything you need in that one place. You don't have to connect anywhere at the back end. And as you can see, it has multiple benefits. Not only does it have a higher capacity of storing data compared to a QR code, it has multiple levels of protection, which offers the possibility of confidentiality, selective disclosure of claims, and you making sure that you control your own data. Then there is redundancy. QR codes have limited levels of redundancies. Our technology has a lot more. And then the final thing is about how many biometrics can you put in there, and the list goes on. We can today put face, fingerprint, and then we'll talk about voice, and then the compressed face image. This slide is basically talking about the other aspects of it, right? For example, why do you want some things like encryption? You want to make sure that you're in control, nobody else is looking at it. Anybody who has the right to look at your data can look at it. The error correction helps basically make the code robust, which means that any standard phone, low-end phones can actually process your data. At the same time, the ability to capture biometrics using phones, which again, you just need a phone, right? In the old days, you would need iris scanners, fingerprint scanners. Here with just the phone, you can capture face, fingerprints, and voice, and then compare it to something that's stored into the cryptograph that is issued by an agency. Basically, segueing into the concept of mobile-based edge processing for biometrics, you can clearly see from the picture, capturing a selfie is something that's a second nature to us. But you can imagine that not only can we capture the face, we can also detect liveness. And this is where we partner with ID R&D to ensure that the person who's capturing their face is the real person. At the same time, we are able to create a biometric template that can be then used for matching that with the pre-enrolled and stored face picture into the cryptograph in an offline manner. On the right, you can see that we are now able to capture fingerprints using mobile phones, and you can match these fingerprints with a standard fingerprint sensor captured images. So this basically means that now with the phone, you are able to capture multiple modalities, use that not only for security, but privacy aspects of the credential as well. We as Tech5, we are, as you can see, we are a biometrics company. We all build algorithms, but then we are also in the credentialing business. We are building these innovative ways of decentralized identity management and credentialings and digital IDs that can be used in online, offline mode. We constantly participate in industry evaluations like FRVT for fingerprints. There is another evaluation track in IRIS. From here, I would segue into the discussion where we are really leveraging the benefits of voice. And I would like Alexey, our partner, to take from here and explain and talk about the voice technology.
Absolutely, Rahul. Thank you so much. So let's move into the next slide and talk a little bit about voice. But first, ID R&D is a developer of the core biometric capabilities. So we're developing the core biometric components that then our partners integrate into their successful products and platforms. And today I want to give a quick overview of the two domains and two key contributions that ID R&D is making to this very exciting new product that Rahul is talking about. So let's talk about voice first. We're extremely excited about voice. We've been working in the voice domain for quite some time now, but we're seeing that voice is gaining a very strong traction, strong popularity right now for two key reasons. One is the voice is the role of voice is changing. It used to be a modality that lived in a call center, or I would say would die in a call center. But now it's expanding into the wild because voice is becoming a new interface. When we're thinking about the way that we're communicating with the technology world, the role of voice as the means of communication with technology, with products, with capabilities is constantly increasing. think of Alexa, what's the interface of the Alexa? There's no screen. We can't really touch anything, right? So it's all done with voice. And if companies are looking to provide secure access to financial transactions or sensitive information through that channel, voice biometrics is the right way to do it. Voice biometrics is also, I would argue, an ideal second modality in the multimodal biometric implementation. A few reasons for it, specifically on the edge. Voice biometric has this natural user interface or user experience. We just need to say a quick phrase, which is now very natural to us. We've also seen a very significant breakthrough, a very significant leap in performance of the voice biometric algorithms. Just a couple of years ago, we were talking about the single percentage points when it comes to the false accept scores. Now we're talking about the hundreds of a hundredth of the percent when we're talking about the false accept. So a very monumental shift in the type of quality and the type of security that that voice can provide. But when we talk about the improvements in performance, it also covers such important things as latency, which means that it's working extremely quickly, and also the size of the size of the application and the size of a template, right? So the size of the template for the voice biometric right now can be counted in bytes, in hundreds of bytes, not kilobytes, bytes. That's how small it is. So you can really pack a lot of information, and you can really deliver the convenience of voice biometrics, especially in the multimodal environment, with the new generation of technology. And when we're talking about this new generation, there are a couple of very handy benchmarks that the folks can use when they're looking for partners in voice. ID R&D have been actively participating in all the leading benchmarks here. Two that were conducted in 2022 that I want to highlight. One is called Spoof Aware Speaker Verification Challenge, which is a very interesting one because it combines the speaker verification, which is matching, which is core biometric, and liveness, right? So now we're talking about liveness, the second domain that I'll quickly touch upon. And then the second one is Vox Lab 2022. That's another test that was done on the real life audios in real time, in a real type of environment. So voice is proving it's extremely high performance, not only in the lab but also in the wild, in the real-time type of situation. So I would direct the folks to take a look at the results of the challenges, see what the new generation of the voice biometrics can deliver to your solutions in the new changing world where voice is becoming an increasingly important piece of the communication that we as humans have with technologies. I mentioned liveness, and this is the second domain that I want to touch upon today. So Rahul, if we can go to the next slide. Liveness is a very important concept. When we're thinking of the biometrics, a good biometric system must be answering two questions. Is this the right person? And that's what biometric matching is doing. And then secondly, is this a person, right? Is this a person, or is this a picture of a person? Or is that, something like this, somebody can try to spoof the system and get the access to some type of resources with more elaborate spoofing attempts like this. So we're trying to distinguish not whether this is a specific person, but whether there is a person in front of the device at the point of the biometric transactions. And at ID R&D, we're developing liveness solutions in three key domains. So we talked about voice. Specifically in voice, there are two key attack vectors. One is synthetic voice, that is creation of the new voice out of the existing recordings. You all heard, about the good use of this technology, where I don't know if anybody saw the Anthony Bourdain documentary, which was narrated by his voice. And then the second type of attacks is recorded voice. So we're distinguishing between me speaking right now and somebody using a recording sample of my voice. We're also providing a solution for document liveness, right? So we're trying to establish whether during a transaction, whether we see a document or a picture of a document. And then finally, the facial liveness. So that's where that's where my good friend comes into play, the mask. Because here we provide the answer to the question whether there's a person or where there's a presentation attack. And the key thing that combines all these three domains is the frictionless approach that we bring to the table. The idea of the biometrics, the only way that the biometrics are successful is when we're solving problem where we're simplifying the user experience. And that's where the frictionless aspect of it comes into play. It's more difficult to do, but that's the only way that we can gain traction and gain trust of the users. Rahul?
Thank you. What I'll do is I'll go to the next slide. And again, just adding on to what Alexey has been saying, the whole idea of a useful ID solution or identity solution is when it is covering the digital divide. And when I say that is basically if somebody is able to prove who they are without having access to a smartphone, to digital infrastructures, internet, all of the digital skills is where we think that, is going to be really useful. And because of the high penetration of mobile phones, this we think is the real answer to the whole problem of digital divide. So all said, I would say that, all the things that we just talked about is, fingerprints and face and voice and liveness, they actually go into this, our Tech5 digital ID solution, which is offline. And we have identified more than 40 use cases, and they're growing, where this technology will basically help taking that identity verification to the edge, which basically means you can really reach to the masses that were not reachable, depending on some of these previously deployed technologies. So with that, I would, call it a wrap, and over to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Rahul, and thank you, Alexey. Very interesting stuff. And I just want to call out something there that I think was very well explained, but I think is pretty novel, right? And very well, one of the novel elements, or a couple of the novel elements, let's say, here, because there's a lot going on, right? And one thing that's really striking to me, just watching the development of these kind of technologies, is that we've got biometric data being stored not even on the device, as in on the on a smartphone or some other electronic device, but this is beyond the network edge. This is like the edge of like a social network, essentially, right, or a sociological or government kind of network, depending on who your issuer is. So that's really interesting. And then the actual computing part of it, the algorithms, the AI, this is running on a device that is not networked necessarily at all. So there's kind of a bonus edge in the application, right? Is that fair to say?
It is. It removes the necessity of mobile devices by the ID carrier. As you said, you can see it's printed and can be printed at home. It removes the demand for smart cards and chips and plastic, which is detrimental to the planet, and actually makes sure that you can easily issue this credential that somebody can carry. And then the people who are authorized to verify, which could be government officials, are just carrying a smart device to do that. So yeah, essentially the power of computing at the edge. What it's doing is a social benefit of making sure there is inclusion. Everybody in the society can participate. Second is you do not need to be digitally skilled, no access to infrastructure, and the vital, most important thing, security and privacy, and removing the liability from the governments to not have centralized data centers. And we hear these hacks every day. So, and because they're so cross-platform compatible, like what Alexey was saying, so you can capture a face on a mobile phone and match it on the laptop's webcam, or you record on the laptop and then verify using the mobile phone in the field, right? So we do believe that this is going to really change the definition of decentralized identity, on the edge.
And yeah, utilizing the edge in a kind of an innovative way to deliver some of these benefits, like even that Jim was referring to at the beginning, but and taking them to a new place. So that's very exciting, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot about that in the digital identity space over the months and years ahead. So, and thanks to everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.